Hey there, real Sean Irish here. This is the supplement to Is the State Your God, Is the State Your Father? So this is part two. I didn't want to make it sound like the Democrats don't do anything. That's not true. The Democrats actually do a lot. They do a lot to make themselves look good, and they do a lot to enrich themselves massively while they're holding public office. And then while they're in public office, they set themselves up for when they leave public office. That is, if they ever intend to leave public office. A lot of them are professional liars and thieves, and therefore they want to stay in public office until they die or retire. Much like John McCain, who was Rhino, Republican in name only. But anyway, it's not that the Democrats don't do anything, it's that everything they do always seems to serve themselves more than anybody else. So this idea that they're selfless or they're giving back to society, you need to wipe that out of your brain right now. If anybody does do that, and they just happen to be a Democrat, and they actually are looking out to help other people, it's not because they're a Democrat. Trust me, it's because maybe they're a good person, or maybe they have a conscience or something like that. So don't blame the Democrats for anybody actually helping society. Please don't blame the Democrats, because they're the most self-serving bunch on this planet. Okay, let's be real. I mean, they've out-mobbed organized crime. Let's be real. Let's just get this straight out. Just straight out. Okay, the Democrats have out-mobbed organized crime, and they did that a long time ago. So where organized crime are a bunch of Boy Scouts now compared to the Democrats. So let's just go on. Here's some of the list of some of the things the Democrats will do. If you live in a, let's call it targeted. I'm going to call it targeted, but it's really they call it an economically disadvantaged neighborhood, because see, they won't go in and do anything with these neighborhoods. They won't go in and actually educate people. They won't really pump up the schools. They'll do things that sound good that further degrade that demographic that's their target demographic. They will go in and spend a lot of money degrading their demographic with endless tests in these schools. When these kids need life skills, they need to learn how to learn. They don't need to learn how to take a test. They need to learn how to learn. You know, how to take care of themselves, how to hold down a job, how to make themselves valuable to other people, so that they have a lifetime of employment as opposed to a lifetime of what we call it, government cheese. You know, having to take that government handout every month. That's what the Democrats are not good at. They have a few success stories. There's always going to be somebody squeezed through the cracks in the Democratic meat grinder, you know, that doesn't come out into the sausage. They fall down on the floor and run away before they're completely ground up and homogenized with all the rest of everybody else. That ends up in the ghetto. Okay, and those are their success stories. And a lot of the politicians are some of those people too, I would think, at least a couple of them. And so by the time they get up there, they've clawed and stood on enough backs and stomped enough people down where they know the score, you know. So they're real good Democrats, and I mean that in all sincerity. They're real good Democrats. It doesn't make them great people, but they sure come across nice on the TV monitor. But here's the kind of list of things Democrats will do if you live in a, quote, let's call it, quote, disadvantaged neighborhood. Let's just say in Atlanta here, let's just say you're living in a lower income black neighborhood. Okay, the kind of stuff Democrats will do for you with our money, that's my money, other people at work, bondholders, government loans and grants, the kind of things they will do for you in a disadvantaged neighborhood. And let's look over it and see why. Okay, they're happy to put up, say, recreational areas, basketball courts, that sort of thing. They're happy to do that at a massive cost, let's say. Happy to do that. They will try to sponsor government programs on how to take care of babies, how to buy groceries, basic life skills, you know, how to fill out a job application. We're not even talking about skills. We're talking about like stuff that's so basic that you'd be like, what? You didn't know how to do that in the 8th grade? You know, you never had a paper route, nothing. You know, they have grants, lots of grants, and money available for people to go to school. But a lot of folks can't pass the entrance exams to get into these schools, so they need remedial teaching to learn how to read and write before they can get into even the VOTEC programs. And this is where a lot of the kids drop out again. They just drop out because reading and writing is tough, man, when you're 15, 16, 18, 20. That's hard, man, if you haven't learned that when you're a kid, you know? So if you're really lucky and you're in a really, let's call it progressive, because that word doesn't mean anything anymore. Let's say if you're a really advanced area where the Democrats are running it. They might even put in a reading and writing program for kids. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the years you need to get kids into reading and writing and books and creating. That's the years you need to get their minds going, when they're young, when they're active, before they've just been beat down by life and watched every member of their family dragged through the mud by essentially these repressive laws and repressive policies and repressive neighborhoods that the Democrats love to create because it's a voting bloc for them. And man, are they good at it. Oh man, nobody on earth is better at it than the Democrats. They've got it down to a science. If I didn't know better, I'd say that's all the DNC does. And then they filter it down through the Democratic organizations. They've even got the language down where they can filter it down and make it sound like this is how we want to approach things and this da-da-da-da-da. And by the time it all gets done and filters out, you get a psychologist looking at this stuff and they're going to be like, this is why I can never vote Democrat. But I'm just telling you. Okay, the other kind of stuff they like to put up, they'll put up a free health clinic, that you have to have like no income to qualify for. And they'll be happy to go in and, like the dental side of the free health clinic will be happy to go in and pull your teeth. They won't give you any anesthetic. God forbid they give you anesthetic for pulling a tooth because that costs money, man. They probably have anesthetic. They're probably selling it out the back door because all the folks at the free health clinic, some of them are as crooked as any of the Democrats. They're probably all vote Democrat. And who knows how they funded that free health clinic, because you got to have bonds, you got to have money, and the health clinic ain't taking in any money, so who knows what happened there. So there's got to be some side deals going on. I'm just saying, and I'm not saying everybody at the free health clinic's bad. There are probably some really nice folks there. But I'm talking about, at the administration and the funding and the management levels, there's some shady stuff, okay? So you got your free health clinics, you got your, social programs, you might have a little VOTEC school, you might have something to teach people how to be cashiers. But I mean, teaching someone how to be a cashier and teaching them how to exist in any customer service side of business is a totally different thing. Anybody can push a button on a cash register. All you got to be able to do is how to read and have even basic math. You don't even have to know how to do math because the cash register does the math for you. You just have to do data entry, basic data entry. So these aren't good jobs. These are really just minimum wage and just over minimum wage, mostly part-time, work at Walmart or Kmart or some other mart, stuff like that. These are not good jobs. These aren't the skilled trades. These aren't even the semi-skilled trades. These are definitely not white-collar jobs. They're not training people out of the ghetto for white-collar jobs because, man, they say that for all the cushy folks. In Atlanta, we might even say they say that for the cushy Negroes, for the house Negroes. I'm just saying, you got to come from a good family. You got to come from somewhere other than the hood to get in one of those jobs, brother, because, man, with that gold tooth, you got sitting right there, you're going to stand out in the office in that white shirt and tie and that gold tooth, brother. You have to explain that shit to all those uptight people. See what I'm saying? But anyway, so they're happy to bring in stuff like that. When you really look at it, all that stuff they bring into the hood, it's not the type of businesses that would really anchor down and create, and serve a real economy. These are all sub-economic businesses. A lot of them, if not all of them, are living on the same types of money, the same types of public assistance money. Like a lot of their clients are on public assistance, so they're getting, they're getting EBT cards, they're getting government cash, they're getting vouchers, they're getting benefits, they're getting stuff that's all paid by the government. Who's paying for that? You and me. If you got a job, regular tax-paying job, we're paying for that. Bondholders, people who fund government loans, all that. We're paying for that. That's not the government paying for that. That's us. Okay, so all of these businesses they try to bring into the hood are really part of the same system. They're all feeding off the same trough as the politicians. Literally, and that's the Democrats. That's the Democrats. Like I said, the Republicans have a whole different game. But the Democrats' game is real simple. You keep people down, you keep them poor, and then you grow the pool. It doesn't matter how you grow the pool. Democrats are throwing black people away now, bringing in Latinos, and then they're having trouble with Latinos because Trump's really, really popular in the Latino community. The folks that have been here and stayed and established in second generation, and they got businesses and homes, and many, if not most of them, have naturalized. And they really love Trump because they know what it's like to work your butt off. And So now they're even trying. They don't have any pull with the Asian community necessarily, the Democrats, unless it's recent Asian immigrants from maybe Cambodia or Laos or Vietnam, and they might have some pull with them. They don't have a whole lot of pull with the Indian community, except there are government programs that allow, let's say, an Indian person, East India, the regular India, the country, to come in and say run a gas station and get all sorts of government subsidies running a gas station that you and I can't get. And then when their time lapses, I forget it's 5, 6, 10 years or whatever, they turn it over, they sell it or turn the business over to another family member who comes in and does the same thing. They get huge subsidies. And it's like, that's why all the hotels and gas stations are owned by Indian folks. I got nothing against the Indian folks. That's a program I would take advantage of if I was in that community. And it's a great way to live a middle-class life. But why can't Americans do that too? There's nothing like that for black folks, man. And so Democrats are abandoning black folks, and black folks are abandoning them right and left. So it's time to get this information out there. The time is ripe. The day is nigh. We got to take these suckers down, folks. Dem exit as fast as you can. Because now they're trying to bring in the Muslims, and that's not going to work because the Muslims are only going to be here. A lot of them are only going to be here. They don't like working. They don't like working for non-Muslim people. They stay within their own community. They don't integrate. They're just not team players, man. So you can forget about that. The Muslim community at large, the foreign Muslim community, they're not team players. Heck, you can't even order a bacon burger or biscuit or something like that, man. They'll look at you like you just slapped their grandma. And it's like, sorry, I didn't know you were halal. No biggie. But to them, it's a biggie. So they don't even want to work at a counter. They don't want to work for non-Muslim people. So they're only going to stick around as long as their dole lasts. And believe me, they get a considerable amount of dole. It's about $3,200 a month. Just walking in, having a Muslim name and a veil, or a bunch of kids trailing behind you and some wives. Yeah, you can have multiple wives if you're Muslim. Didn't you know that? It's illegal in the United States. It's illegal in the United States if you believe that. Not according to Democrats.